Welcome, everybody, to 3Beards of Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Shane, and my co-host next to me, whatever one, I don't know, is Adrian, and below us is the father, and the gray-haired beard is Gabe. You're very low. We cannot hear you.
You can't hear what I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything yet.
You can't hear what I'm saying.
You're very low, but we can hear you, kind of. This is the first episode of 2026. Now,
This isn't helping at all.
Turn it up.
How do I turn it up? I don't know how to turn it up.
Your Wi-Fi.
I gotta turn my Wi-Fi up. Okay, turn my Wi-Fi up. Give me a second, Jen. I got you.
Purple rain, purple rain.
All right, it is the new year. It is the new background for the week.
Why do I look like the dude? Like the carpet keeps the entire room connected.
All right. First, so let's take care of some business before we bring our guest on here. If you guys are looking to be a professional wrestler, a manager, a referee, or for the women, a valet or a ring announcer.
You mean just for the women, or is that just for everybody?
That's for everybody.
You mean so a man can be a valet too? I'm just asking.
It's 2026. Anything can happen. Hit up Fort Knox's Pro Wrestling School in High Spire, Pennsylvania. We are doing tryouts. It is, I forget, but it's $50 for 2 tryouts, $25 each. So yeah. January 24th, this month, we are 3 weeks away?
3 weeks, yes. 3 weeks. 19 days to be 19 days exactly.
Okay, 19 days, 17 hours, and we are back in Lebanon, Pennsylvania after we tore the building up with Black Friday. Show starts at 6 p.m. The doors open at 5. Again, we are in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and our guest that night will be none other than Downtown Bruno, a.k.a. Harvey Whippleman.
Oh, that's right. Bruno going to be in Lebanon on January 24th, so y'all need to check in.
So if you guys need tickets, hit us hit any of us up. The Fort Knox's page, Classic Championship Wrestling page, Valor Pro Wrestling page, Seven Mountains page. Any of those pages will somehow get you guys tickets. We're all connected. Adrian's in Ohio, so you might have to send him through a bottle in the ocean. Well, there's not an ocean between us.
I'll be ready to say. Where would you get an ocean from?
He'll send a bird. I don't know. Either way, he will get the tickets to you if you go through Adrian. None other than let's bring our guest on.
I'm trying to figure out why that middle dude look like Kurt Russell, but go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the asphalt to the air to the squared circle and the canvas that we all love. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce our guest, the incomparable, the talented, the multi-talented. I should say that. That's 3 talents.
Barely multi-talented. You're super multi-talented. Just go ahead and say
Mike Flight, guys. This is the legend of legends. This is a guy who's managed all of them. Let's go, Mike.
Good evening, gentlemen. How's everyone doing? How's the nation doing out there? All right?
Yeah, pretty good. Fantastic. I stubbed my toe earlier, but we're not talking about me. We're talking about
you. I'm sorry to hear that.
Shane doesn't care. You can see on his face he doesn't care.
He's always confused. So
I mean, listen. Once you have a heart attack, it's.
Oh,
I thought we weren't going to talk about Shane.
It got purposeful.
All right, what is up, Mike? You are on the
Mike. Hey, let's dive into this stuff. So, take us through kind of your career. Like, how did you get started in the wrestling world?
So it's a great question. So that's one question people have pondered about me over the last 26 years myself. So after 9/11, I'm a commercial pilot by trade, and I was flying cargo.
Which is amazing.
That's Northeast Philly when 9/11 happened. So I was set to work for an airline, and after that happened, all the training stopped at all the airlines. The regional airline stopped, the main line stopped because of 9/11. So one day I was working out at the gym, and there's a guy his name was Taboo, Sweet Taboo. His real name was Ron Korak. He worked for ECW, and we worked at the gym together, and we would talk. We would converse back and forth. And I told him one day, he goes, "So what are you going to do? You're a pilot. What are you going to do?" I said, "Well," I don't know. I said, "I'm going to have to figure it out." The guy that I was working for, he allowed me to keep my job flying cargo. But in the meantime, Ron goes, "Well, you're a big guy." He goes, "You should become a professional wrestler. I do it. I really enjoy it." I said, "Well," I told him I was always a fan of it, the wrestling, watched it all the time. I mean, the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik, Brooklyn Brawler coming up when I was younger. So I never foresaw myself, actually getting into the business. So he then tells me that, he was training down with Larry Sharp in South Jersey at the Monster Factory. And from there, I went down to the training center, and they told me there's a fee to try out. I said, no problem. So I gave them a fee, and I tried out. It was a Saturday morning. And you guys remember Deuce and Domino? They were there that one day. They weren't. This is before they got to WWE. But Cliffy Compton, I was in the ring with Cliff Compton, and he was beating me out of the corner. We were doing some basic stuff. And Larry Sharp looks at me and goes, "Okay, we can train you." He brings me in the office because I got some good news. I got some bad news. I said, "Give me the good news." He goes, "Well, the good news is that we can train you." I said, "What's the bad news?" He goes, "It costs $4,000. I said, "Okay, all right." So with that being said, I started training there with that under Larry's wing. Larry had gotten cancer. I believe it was throat cancer, if I'm not mistaken. And there was 4 of us that started together. And then he said, "I'm going to send you guys to finish your training up in Allentown," because we were all close to that location. And that's how I met Alpha the Wild Samoan. I went up it was a Wednesday, and the first day I went up there, I'll never forget, it was a Wednesday. It was after, because back then it was Raw was on Monday and SmackDown was on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And on that Wednesday, I went there. The training center was open, and Samu was in there, and a bunch of the guys were in there, and that's how I met Pops. But then when he went out, brought me out to the training area, he goes, "Come out, let's meet all the boys and girls." I said, "Okay." When I walked out in the training center, who's in there working with them but The Rock? Dwayne Johnson's working with some of the students because he was at the night before. They were in Philadelphia the night before. And coincidentally, he just made the trek up to Allentown to help his uncle. So this is where it gets really interesting. So after that, we went to Woody's Pizzeria in Allentown for dinner. The whole students, and Dwayne Johnson joined us. Now, he was with WWE at the time. He was just starting to build his empire. And he was sitting across from me. He kept looking at me, and we make eye contact. And he says to me, "Mike, what do you do for a living?" I was like, "Well, I'm a pilot." And I'll never forget, he looked away and was talking to somebody else. And he looks at me and goes, "You're going to be Mike Flight." I never forget that. I was like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "You're going to be a cocky pilot. It's never been done before. It's a great idea." I said, "Okay." So I ran with that gimmick that Dwayne Johnson told me about. And he said, "There's never been a pilot gimmick before." And I started out as Mike Flight, the cocky pilot, if you will. And when I got into full-fledged training with Alpha saw that I had some experience. I had some gelling on the stick, on the microphone. So he goes, I want to try something with them. I'll never forget it. He goes, "All right." So we were up training at the time at Rick's Barbecue in Scioto, Pennsylvania. And he brought me outside, Alpha Junior. It was Pops, Alpha Junior, and it was supremely great. Never forget it. And he gives me the microphone. He goes, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for this man, Jeff the Future Coleman? What are you gonna do?" All right. So I started talking. I'm going to bring them up. I'm going to build them. And then Office says to me, get a little bit more angrier. I said, okay, I'll try that. So got a little bit more angrier, and I started working the gimmick, and I started feeling so much more comfortable with it. That's how Mike Flight started. Again, I mean, I wasn't the best worker out there, and I'll be the first to say it. But you know what, though? I had just a very comfort zone behind the stick and talking on the microphone, and Alpha liked that. So he paired me up with a guy named Jeff the Future Coleman, and Jeff and I were in training together. Jeff was a big boy. I mean, Jeff was getting serious looks from the Fed at the time. So we worked shows against Sinister X. I mean, back in WXW days. Pop, some of the names from the past. Then Pop started working us with the names. Like when Kishi would come in, we worked the tag against. I was managing, but with Rikishi and Samu at the Bushwood Resort up in the Poconos. And I think that show, I think they had like almost 2,000 people there. It was great. So that's how it started for me. Then when you graduate from there, I just started working for WXW shows. And then you go on to other areas, and then people start taking an interest in you. And you gentlemen all know how it works. So that's how it started for me in wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Mike, you have multiple talents. You have 3 different talents that are acute to you. Mm-hmm. Which one of them is your ultimate love?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say, you know what? I mean, by day, I'm a pilot. Okay. I've been flying for 31 years now. Right. And I just feel very comfortable, going fast, if you will. Racing, I really love racing. It's great. When you're out there and you're competing, and it's just, wrestling has always been, I think, a secret love of mine. But then as you start doing more shows, you appreciate the fans that come out because it's important, right? So that's a hard question to ask, but I'd say I enjoy all 3 facets of my life. I really do. There's really not
which one has more endorphins and adrenaline?
Wow.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I raced at Daytona, and I'll tell you, going on those high banks, it's pretty crazy. I mean, you go into the tri-oval at Daytona, and then you're going to turn 1. And I remember Bobby Gerhart told us one time before the test, he said, for you rookies, and I'm like, he goes, you're not going to see anything in turn number 1. You're going to see blacktop. And I'll never forget it, gentlemen. I rolled that car in, and I'm like, wow, you don't see nothing. I remember looking up to my right, and all you see is like the slant of the track. You're basically, I think it's, I don't want to quote, but I think it's like you're at 45-degree angle, and you're just kind of like, wow. And then the car will settle out on the backstretch. The car dumps, boom. You feel that. But when I first raced at Daytona back in 2017, going into 3 and 4, you look up and you go, that's where Dale Earnhardt died right there. And that just kind of like made me a little bit emotional. And I also got to drive the number 3 car, which that really was special.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy shit.
Okay. That was, yeah. And we couldn't, again, and that's the thing. Racing, unfortunately, you need the sponsorship to compete at that level. Odie's Oil, just you got to have the backing. We have 2 new sponsors this year we're very excited to be working with. And, Roger Penske once said something. He said, in racing, how fast you go depends on how much you want to spend. It's a great way of looking at it.
Do you feel like that's also an adjective you could use towards wrestling?
Yeah, sure. So in wrestling, I say, I like to turn it up a little bit. We all, it's a privilege to walk through that curtain. I always felt Ivory told us that one time. We were doing a show with Ivory, and she said, you know what, gentlemen, it's not a right to walk through that curtain. It's a privilege. And I'm like, wow, she's right. You think about that. And I think that some people take it for granted in this business, and that's okay. I mean, everyone has to govern their actions accordingly. But I think that when you go there, you're representing the company that you're with. And whether it be, Bliss, your promotion or WXW, you're representing that brand. And you've got to, you act professional at all times. I think it's very important.
I mean, I would love to speak to the fact that I've walked through that curtain and wanted to be a wrestler. But these 2 guys right here have done it and done it good.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you got to have Shane, I worked with you a couple months ago, and it was amazing. You give a lot, and that's the thing. If both sides give a lot, it makes the match that much better. And I think it's easier to work with someone that wants to work with you and, kind of do the selling, if you will. I think it just looks better.
Even if Shane gives you a concussion. Yes, I agree. So Mike,
you act like that wasn't like the third one he gave.
No, that was actually number 5. We don't talk about the other. So like in your career, who has been like in wrestling? Who has been your favorite opponent and why?
That feud we had with Samu was really good. I mean, Jeff Coleman and myself. I was managing Jeff, and that feud went on for about 4 months. It went on. I'm sorry, about 4 months. But the buildup, Adrian, was just to that level. Like we started, and then it culminated at the Bushwood Resort Arena when Rikishi came in to help Sam.
Oh, nice.
Jeff, we had Alpha Jr. as our secret mystery partner. People thought it was me. I walked in, I was in a suit, and I'm like, it ain't me. And all of a sudden, Alpha's music hits. The place went nuts. I'm like, because Alpha Jr. was out for a while. Then he came back in, but then Alpha screwed us because he turned with his family. So Jeff and I got the short end of the stick. But that feud, I'll never forget it. And then my buddy Snitsky came in at the last show, and we ended it that night on Saturday night. It was up in Allentown, and Gene popped me with a chair, and that was the end of it. And I remember Pop said backstage, he's like, "Okay, we're done with this now, right?" Because it was getting very emotional because we wanted to go above and beyond just selling. But I mean, when Sam, laid India, I mean, he was pretty stiff, and that's what it was. So Jeff and I were green at the time. We really didn't know about being stiff or working or how it works, but we were just kind of thrust into this deal. And Alpha said it was backstage. He's like, "You two guys are the number 1 heels in this company right now."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, mission accomplished, right? Bingo, check mark. That's a great thing to hear because we worked and then we would go up to the training center. Even though we were signed off to work, we kept going to the training center because you have to keep honing your skill. That's the whole thing.
That is something that a lot of guys seem to miss out once they hit a certain level, is that they forget the fact that regardless of how much success you have that success because you were hungry in the beginning. And once you got to a certain point, you kind of fade away from doing that. Training is one of the most important things you can do on a constant basis because, like you said, iron sharpens iron, and it keeps your skill level up. So, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, you got to get back to the business. I'm working at a promotion outside of Philadelphia, IJW, and Frankie Picard runs the promotion, and I like what he's doing with the younger people because he'll tell them, "You guys got to show up. You younger guys have got to show up. You just can't." Like you said, AJ, you just can't be on a show and expect to be on the next show and on the next show if you don't put the work in, right? So here I am, 35 years old, and I'm part of my friend. I'm busting my ass because we wanted to keep that spot in WXW. And then ECPW reached out to us, Gino Caruso from up in New Jersey, and he bought in Paulie Enormous, Sinister X, Jeff, and myself at the same time back in 2005, I believe it was. It was 5. And it was a larger audience up there. So that's how you do it. People see.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Nope. His service took flight.
Ooh. He would no. Did we lose him?
No. What happened?
Gabe, you ran him off. Damn it.
I didn't break anything, Adrian.
Way to go, Gabe.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I look like Dude Love over here.
You look like Kurt Russell. See, it's not Dude Love. You look like Kurt Russell. You look like.
All right.
There we go. We got it back.
There we go. We're back.
That was a phone call. I'm sorry.
So Mike, like looking at like your entire career and what you've seen and what you've done, what is one piece of advice you'd give somebody to start in this industry?
Be humble. Be very humble. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're not humble, it's going to find you. It'll make you humble. And Alpha, talking to Larry Sharp, his philosophy was different than Alpha's. When you come in, even when I enter the cockpit, I'm very humble. When I go into a race car, I'm very humble because you know what? It's going to bite you. And if it bites you, there's an old saying, the margin for error is 0 in motorsports. You got to be on that wheel and you got to know what you're doing. But, you're out there to trust the other 42 other people around you. I'd rather drive on a racetrack that are people that are humble as opposed to being on I-95 that people don't really care. So staying humble is very important. Yeah.
I got an odd question outside of wrestling. It's because I experienced something when I was flying one time. I had a pilot who was an asshole, and I know he was an asshole because he didn't let us know we were about to hit turbulence, and the seatbelt sign was off. So of course I'm getting up to go use the bathroom, and it wasn't normal turbulence. It was turbulence where you start walking, and then the bottom of the plane drop out from you, and then come back. I hit the ceiling, and I woke up like 5 minutes later. Should I say something to him about that? Because he wasn't a pretty big pilot. Like you stepping out of the cockpit, I'd just be like, "You have a good day, sir." But he was short, and he was eyeballing me, and I'm sitting there with a bag of ice on my head, like, "You son of a bitch."
So sometimes we get unstable air masses. I'll explain this to you. An unstable air mass is you're cruising along now. The Weather Service puts out, I guess we call it reports, if you will, pilot reports in certain areas. Sometimes you're going to hit a air pocket. It's hard to determine. Now, unstable air mass versus a turbulent air mass. I mean, there's two different things, but there may have been a chance he may not have known about it because a lot of times you're flying into a certain altitude. I mean, you're in a certain airspace, and the controllers are so busy, their workload is very heavy. But I mean, again, I'm sorry that it happened to you. I mean, I just always keep the seatbelt sign.
I'm not sorry it happened to him.
I got a question about being a pilot. This might be a dumb question, but is there speed limits in the sky?
Oh, sweet Jesus Christ!
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good question. Yeah. So there's different classes of airspace. All right, you have Class A airspace, which from flight level 180, 18,000 to 60,000 feet. All right. There's a how do I say this? As you get lower to the ground, there are speed restrictions. You get closer to an airport, there are speed restrictions. Below at a Class B airport like Philadelphia, like New York, that's the Class B. Okay, you got to maintain 250 knots below 10,000 feet. That's the whole thing. So yeah, there are speed limits. Yes, in certain areas.
I always wondered that.
You would ask that, wouldn't you?
Bro, every time I go on a plane, I feel like obviously I know a plane goes faster than like a car and shit, but like
most everything on land, yes.
I'm like, is there speed limits in the sky too? Like
there are. Yeah, there are. Yeah.
So Mike, like when you look back, like what is your favorite thing that you remember about the industry? Like wrestling, who you wrestled, what was your favorite match you ever did?
He just talked about that if you're paying attention, Gabe. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, but I wanted to go on to it. I wanted to go on to it. We're talking about speed limits in the air, and I hit my head in the ceiling. So
I just think going back to there's so many of them, and I've been very, very lucky to work with quite a few people. Working with John Schuyler last time, that was fun. John's a good guy, and we just gelled, and we exchanged numbers because he likes NASCAR. We started talking, and but I mean, I worked with Jimmy Superfly Snuka many years before he passed away. Got to work with him. Bob Backlund many years ago. I'm just throwing out some names, but they're all special because you know what? We grow up and we idolize these people, right? You grow up and you remember them when you were a kid watching them on television, and then you're standing next to them. Like Jimmy Superfly Snuka was telling us stories from back in the '80s, and we were all kind of encamped around him backstage. Everyone would go do their match and come back, and Jimmy was puffing his cigarette and was telling about some of his ventures, but they're all pretty special. I think Gabe, I think you don't want to put like this one was better than that one. I think they're all enlightening for us, and I think I'm just blessed to be doing it. I'm very blessed.
You're very blessed, sir, to be doing a lot of things: flying planes, racing cars, and doing wrestling. That's amazing.
I just want to respond to Ox's comment here. He said I get dropped on my head. It's not that I get dropped on my head. It's from the punches you gave me from fucking when I worked you last year.
You should hit him harder, is what I'm saying.
Oof.
Wow.
Took that like
that's like.
Dude, I hate you. I hate you, Shane. I hate you.
Will you stop hitting on our guest? Okay, we understand he is a very ginormous man. Just stop.
You see this right here?
You just stop. Okay.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's definitely you. Like nobody else has control over changing your name. That's just sad. It's really sad, is what it is. So, how did you make the transition from wrestling into racing? That's just fascinating to me. Like, how did you? What even brought you into wanting to become a race car driver?
I was in Florida in 1994, and I went to
in Florida.
I went to a college in Florida. It's called Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. It's in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, I know exactly where that's at.
You know where that is? All right.
Oh yeah.
At the time, I was kind of I was going to school. I was running a aircraft detailing business. So I go to Taco Bell down the end of the street one day. I'm at lunch, and I read about a guy that's from Fort Lauderdale who realized his dream by competing in the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, sweet.
Now, back then, this is 1994, gentlemen. We had no phones, whatever. So I remember I took the paper with me at a USA Today. I went to a phone booth in Daytona. Back then, Daytona had the whole Florida state, and it was like a big yellow book, right? So I went and grabbed. His name is Dennis Fatolo, and I ripped the page out of the book. Sorry, Ma Bell. Ripped the page out of the phone book, and I went to where I worked, and I called him from the hangar, and he answered me. He answered his own phone. He ran a company called Performance Promotions out of Fort Lauderdale, and he owned Federal Self-Storage, which was right next to the Fort Lauderdale International Airport. The building's still there. So he invited me to come down to Fort Lauderdale from Daytona. Now, back then, I had a little red Fiero, and I'm like, let me make a good impression. I wore a suit, shirt, and tie. Let me drive down. By the time I got to, man, I was just drenched because like my air conditioner went out on the way down. I'm like,
oh no.
So,
oh no, not in Florida. That's a death sentence. You riding with the window down the entire time, head sticking out like.
This was like he ran the Indy 500 in May. This is like middle of June.
Oh,
so his place, and he looked me up. He goes, "Oh, you must be Mike Seneca." I said, "Yeah." So I came in. He bought out refreshments, and we started talking racing. So at the time, there was a friend of mine that ran the marketing program for a casino up in New York called Turning Stone Casino. Lou Leone, God rest his soul. And Lou sponsored that. I got Dennis sponsorship from that casino. In turn, Dennis came around and sponsored me in the Skip Barber series, the Barber Dodge series, which was an open wheel monocoque Indy car, smaller Indy car. Now back then I was also a lot lighter too. I was maybe 204 pounds, 5 pounds. But I learned from Dennis about the tangibles of sports marketing and development and how to cultivate it. And I've been doing that, today I still do that. We reach out to companies with new product introductions and we get them to the market. We help them with distribution and sales. That's how the race car goes around the track, and I've seen a lot of guys approach me and they'll say, "Hey, can you help my son? He's the next Jeff Gordon." Listen, I loved it, but I'm doing my own program. But that's what it was. I was able to hook up with Dennis, and he took me under his wing for many years, which I was very, very lucky. But, again, I was a go-getter. I had to reach out to him. He would never have known I was there if I didn't reach out.
So, Mike, what does Mansfield Motorsports mean to you?
That's my first ARCA start. It's just that was amazing. I went out there back in, that was June 2010 in ARCA, and I'm running along guys that like Frank Kimmel, Justin Allgaier, who's now in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. Who else is back there? I'm in the track. I'm a no-name guy. In the 06, I was driving for Wayne Peterson Motorsports in a Ford, and Wayne's a great guy, still alive today. Wayne's a great guy with a big heart and a small budget. So the car, unfortunately, I didn't give him a lot of money to start, but it was enough to get us to the track and get us on the track. And for me, I just was able to get that start, and that's what started. I ran sports cars before that. Then I got into the ranks of NASCAR, so that's what happened. So Mansfield's very special. It's no longer there anymore. But
do you remember what place you finished that day?
Oh my gosh, 20? No, maybe 30. Is it 30 seconds?
Yeah, no, you had it.
26, 28, was it? What was it?
30th.
Out of what?
30th. Yeah, so we had a time.
Out of 42. I mean, the man's a legend.
Yeah, it's just that was a very special track. But you know what? My biggest thrill was going to Daytona. It's an unbelievable spectacle. The fans, and you're driving. You know what? And I'll never forget it. Wayne Hickson, my car owner, told me when you're on the track, and he goes, and they're gonna come, the pack's gonna come by you. He goes, do not lift. I'll never forget that. I go, what do you mean don't lift? He goes, don't lift. I said, okay. Just keep your foot mapped to the floor, and I'll tell you why. And he goes, if you lift, that car's gonna go airborne. I'm like, because of the aerodynamic effect from the side draft you get. So here I am. We pitted out of sequence because we had a problem with the motor, and our guys repaired it. I get back out there. My spotter goes, they're coming up on you by 10. I go, oh, shit. Okay. And I remember Wayne hearing in my left ear, Wayne goes, keep your foot mashed on the pedal. So here they go. They go by me.
I mean, you've had a ton of great teammates. I mean, you've had everybody from Bobby Dale, Earnhardt to you. You've had some amazing teammates that have come beside you. I mean, Mike Harmon Racing. I mean, that's a big one too.
Somebody did his research.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens when you know knowledge, boys.
Yeah, exactly. When you got a guest of importance, you do your research, man.
Yeah, that was just amazing, But Daytona, you know what? You can't feel the relevant speed until you're in that car, and you're just like, you're whipping it around, and you're like, wow, man, it's crazy. Then you get into the drafting, man. I'll tell you that's an eye opener. I'll never forget that.
So do you feel like G-forces and stuff when you're racing? Like, do you feel the pressure of it pushing against you?
When you're going into the turns, Adrian, you gotta you feel like you try to lean forward and you can't. You're like, wow. So they say you don't want to put stress on your heart either. So just go back with the flow, right? As you're coming out of the tri-oval into the front stretch, right? Your car dumps. You can feel it, and then you're riding the rail. You're basically riding the white line. Riding the white line is the fastest way around Daytona. It's the less amount of track covered in a short amount of time. So that's why you see guys trying to dodge for the bottom, because that's the fastest way around. And the car will pick up momentum where you're drafting. Remember, the second car is faster than the first car in the draft because he's pulling them. But then when you can work with someone and say, hey, our spotters are talking. Hey, go with Mike. He wants to go to the front. So they'll get behind you. And then you leave the guy on the inside. You leave him out to drive. That's how it works, unfortunately. So.
Now, Mike, I don't know if you want to talk about it. The 2018 when you got radioed for going.
Yeah. So we were at Martinsville live television. I'll never forget this. So we were poised to start. I mean, we were behind the curve all weekend. I got a call on Wednesday from a guy named Mark Beaver. He said, Mike, I need you to drive my truck. He said, I've got no one. He goes, I said, okay. He goes, will you just buy one set of tires? I said, sure, I'll do that. Okay. We bought a set of tires, showed up. When we got to the track, the truck was in pieces. I'm like, this is all right. But no big deal. We logoed it up with the sponsors who gave us a little bit of money. Put the sponsor logos on. And we went out and we picked up some speed, which was good. The next morning we came back and we qualified. This was a Saturday. They were calling for snow in the forecast in March. I'm down in Martinsville, Virginia. I'm like, all right, great. So we qualified. I think I started, it was 32nd out of 36, something like that. And when we moved up to basically when the race started, it started snowing. And what had happened was,
oh no,
yeah,
oh no,
started snowing.
Oh no,
yeah,
that's gonna be a slick track.
That's and if you guys know that track, there's nowhere to hide. You're literally exposed. So they called me in. They said something like, my crew chief goes, I want to come on in. We want to make an adjustment. I said, okay. As I came in, all right, the NASCAR official, I guess, wanted me to stop. But all of a sudden you hear go, 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 which was my crew chief. You go, right? That's the thing. So as I was leaving the exit lane out of pit lane, the NASCAR official, they hold up a little board, a pad that says go or stop. Well, it said stop. Well, as I stopped, I slid because the pavement was wet. So unfortunately, I had to make myself all the way around to the backstretch. As I turned in to go into the backstretch to come back in, I slid again because the concrete was all wet. Ben Rose was leading that race, and he said it on television. I'm glad Mike had the caution, he said, because we were all over the place. So yeah, in contrast, wasn't my best outing, but unfortunately, you know what? You got to go on to another day. And I'll tell you, I got a lot of fury on Twitter. I mean, the Twitter snipers were all over me, and it's like, look, and I made a statement like, look, this is what happens when you're racing by the seat of your pants, and your crew chief told you to go, you go, all right, and that's it. He's the boss. He calls the shots. But then what happens is, I think fans were saying, well, he disobeyed a black flag. No, and I was in that. There's only one person that was in that seat, and that's me.
That was you.
Yeah, and I know what happened that day. But people will put their own spin on it. But that makes it better. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on you've managed a lot of people? Let's talk a little bit about D-Ray 3000.
Great. Well, I talked to him the other day. Yeah, he's going to come back. A little plug for Rick Baker, he's on his way back. Adrian, he said hello and looks forward to seeing you. We just gelled, man. I first met him at WXW up in at Pops' promotion. And back then he went by the name of Don Crisis. I don't remember that. And he probably was about 22 years old. He was a kid. And we just started hanging out. And I was old. Of course, I'm older than him. But I could not believe how mature he was for a young man. I'm like, wow, he's really mature. So Gene, Sitsky, D-Ray, Dorian, and myself, we would hang out. And I got very close to these guys. So, but D-Ray, I'll tell you, Dorian, Rick Baker, the guy can do it all. He's amazing. He is so schooled and so intelligent. He's been to the Fed. You know, he's worked at, I think he was at TNA for a while too, and he did that. And the guy just has talent, just bleeds talent.
So if you can go back, sorry, me and Adrian are more like the wrestling guys, but
right.
So if you can go back to day one, and give yourself 3 pieces of advice, what would that advice be before starting a wrestling career?
Have a backup plan. All right. Do something. You got to make money. You got to make money to survive. All right. Have a backup plan. Have a career, laid out for you. I think also be smart with your money. It's very important, right? People tend to take their money. Even these younger people that get into the Fed, AEW or TNA. I mean, like John Scott, we were talking about that. John's a smart guy, and being a little older, I think that allows him to be that smarter and with a dollar. So that's my advice: is that have a backup plan, have a career, and be smart with your money.
I can definitely agree with that. Like, the older I got in the business, the more I realized that there needs to be something else I can do while doing this to help maintain both things that are happening. With everything that you've done, and I know, like, from being a pilot to a race car driver to being in the rest of the business, is there something that you look back on wrestling wise that you like, wish I could have did that? I wish I could have did that.
So years ago, Alpha wanted to talk to Jeff Coleman and myself one night. It was after a show, and Jeff had to go work in New Jersey. He had to go work his job because he managed a nightclub. Mm-hmm. So I had a job, and I was also bouncing in Philadelphia too. So I said, well, if you're not going to stay, I'm not going to stay. So because Jeff was the guy. I was his manager. He was the worker.
Right.
So Jeff left, and I left, and then so then I think Alpha got a little upset with us, and understandably so. But from what I heard from another source, was that they were going to send us up to do a dark match together because they wanted to see how it would work. Jeff and I were Heyman and Brock Lesnar before Heyman and Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Really. Because Jeff's a monster. The guy didn't have zero body fat. The guy was in amazing shape, and it just worked, And then and then I'll never forget it. Nunzio told us that he said Tommy Dreamer watches ECW, he watches WXW. They get ideas and they bring it up to the Fed, and they go, look, we just called this in the independent level. And I tell people, protect your gimmick at all costs. Mm-hmm. I don't, because the creativity juices are flowing, right? Well, sometimes someone's hard work doesn't get recognized for the person it should go to. It goes to somebody else.
Right.
I'm not sure if you guys remember Mana, the Polynesian warrior. Mana, I thought, was derived from what's his name, Fatu's brother, Umaga. I think Umaga was basically what was Mana, and they took the gimmick and they ran with it in WWE because that's actually a well-known fact from what I understand. Yeah.
That's smart. Like, that's why everything I do is copywritten. Anytime I put something out, it's copywritten. Anytime, like, whether it's like writing or anything, it is copywritten, because if anybody's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Damn it.
Exactly. You got to be very protective of your own brand, right? The name Mike had that copyrighted because I'm like, that's a cool name. I always felt like, when I was younger, one buddy of mine goes, that sounds like a porn star name. I'm like, well, yeah, but but yeah, I just was like, I want to copyright it. And yeah, I had the website. I still on the website, MikeFlight.com. But yeah, I just felt like you just got to be protective of your brand. Right. And saying what you're doing, aging what you're doing is like, we all have to we all bring something to the table in our gimmicks, right? Because that's why we're there. So, yeah.
Shane brings concussions, but we don't talk about those.
Bro, you make me sound like the unsafest wrestler ever.
I'm not saying.
Shane, what do you bring to the table?
I am saying that you are very, very dangerous when it comes to this. Go ahead.
He's a little stiff. He's a little stiff.
All right, Mike. Let me clear the air real quick.
No, there's no clearing.
So I'm gonna clear the air because you're making me sound like I'm an unsafe wrestler.
He's a psychopath in the ring. Just let him.
So I wrestled Adrian and I hit him with a one-way sign and he put his head down when you're not supposed to.
Nope, that's not how that happened.
I have the video.
I have
the video.
I have the memory because I was just like, okay, he's not gonna swing that hard, is he? Okay, I should be.
No, it's coming. It's coming 110. It's coming 110.
And if I have to, I am going to defend myself. You are the only person I have ever worked in 11 years that has ever got a concussion working me.
So both times I got a concussion. It was just a trifecta.
I mean, I probably got one. I just didn't say anything.
Here we go.
I probably got one. I just
what happened is they don't remember the concussion, so they can't say they got a concussion.
Mike, I'll send you the video.
Yes, Mike, you can see the video, and you can see a 270-pound man just drop like a bag of hot biscuits. It's just crazy. No sound, just slump.
James' defense when he hit me, I didn't feel it. That's good. You're good. That's good.
Because he was nice to you. That's the thing. He's nice to you. If you watch the video, when he swings the sign, the top of the sign touches his butthole, and he swings straight. Yeah, exactly. So you mean to tell me that's swinging with I'm gonna make sure you say no? He cocked back. I saw his armpit hair and all bad intentions, and I said this might hurt a little bit.
It's gonna hurt a little bit, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I tried. All right, I tried for you, buddy.
Well, in my defense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In your defense, what?
Yeah.
What?
In my
You've broken two of your co-hosts. You've broken them both.
And in my defense, I don't have any defense.
Exactly. Your defense rests.
You've broken both of us.
I have the video, and yes, I may swung for the fences, but the
sound sounded great.
But I didn't go like this.
No, I did this like supposed to because supposed to hit me here, and then it went boom.
I'm pulling the video.
Wait, Mike, have you ever seen a one-way sign? You know how thick a one-way sign is, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Same thickness as a stop sign. When have you seen that bend like a cartoon character or to shape somebody's head? When have you seen that? How much do you need?
Adrian folded like Wile E. Coyote.
Exactly. It's straight and then it's my head.
It was done.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. Yes, please show. Let's show the tape to the jury so they.
Can we
present
the evidence to the judge, please?
Mike, you're going to be a judge of this.
I don't know. Why do you damn near kill the guy?
I'm looking for it. 1 second.
Oh, now he can't find it, Magic.
Oh no, I have it.
Now he can't find it.
Oh, I know you have it.
I know, yeah. Conveniently, he can't find it.
Speaking of
this guy's killed more people than you and me, Adrian, in the rest of our lives.
All right, you guys are making me sound like I'm not safe.
No, you're super safe, Shane. You're super safe.
Yeah,
you're one of the safest people I know.
You don't have something
Except when it comes to me. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to me, it's a little different. But when everybody else is crazy.
Well,
I mean, it gets kind of crazy whenever you get smacked 5 times with a steel chair and you're like, one more. I'm like, son of a bitch, one more? Literally one more? Like, I'm like, come on, man.
Mike, he's only like that because he's
come on, look at my hair. Like, I one more. F you.
That's it.
I'll take see that and see. I'm the crazy guy who signs up for the kendo stick shop. So I'm like, yeah, please hit me. Yeah,
honestly, I wanted to no sell the last one too. I wanted to no sell it. So
you would have got another one, and then that one would have hurt for real.
No, he only went 60 on me, so it wasn't horrible.
Oh yeah, he didn't go. He went 160 on me. That's different.
he went 180 on her.
Hold on, I'm looking for the video. Keep going.
Mike,
he went 180. So
before we
so Mike, in the world of like taking bumps, like we're talking about right now, is there any bump that you took that you thought wasn't the right thing to do, but you took it anyway?
All right, that's a great question. So you know the hard way in. Okay, I used to do the hard way. As a manager, if Coleman would pull me in, you know, when we actually worked against each other, okay, and I thought I had that move down pat. So I think Jeff was just so wired up at ECPW one night, as he pulled it, as I jumped up, okay, I got extra, and I landed in the middle of the ring, and I was like, wow, I cracked right here. I was like, oh, God, you know, because I wasn't expecting that. Because usually when you tuck, you know, you bump, you're tucking, right? But so much of a swing. That was the one bump I regret because I was like, wow. It's like, you know, Bliss, when you lay there, you're like, all right, let me think. I'm good. Okay. It was one of those reactions.
It's one of those things where you go, that's not what we had planned.
That's not what we had planned.
Not what we had planned. You were supposed to just flip me over, not throw me halfway across the ring. So, you know, but I mean, you know, and I'm sure these guys can attest to it. The adrenaline kicks in so much you don't feel it until like maybe a couple hours later, and then you're like
driving. That was a bump, you know.
You driving home.
That's driving home. You get out of the car and you're like, I can't get out of the car.
I actually backed it in the wall at Indianapolis back in 2012. I backed the car going like 173 miles an hour, and I'm like, wow. But you get, and the safety crew's like, no, stay in the car. I go, no, I'm good. And this big burly guy goes, stay in the car. I go, okay, because they have to make sure your extremities are good and you get out of the car. But you know, you're so fired up, you're on an adrenaline rush. They take me to the medical center, and I go, oh, I'm good. And they're like, we'll be the judge of that. And they give you the finger. It's like, wow, it's crazy. But yeah, I've been jolted a couple times.
Yeah. I don't know anybody that's ever had a concussion.
Nope.
That guy up there in the corner.
Nope. I'm good. Keep going.
Shane, you roll that video yet?
No, I'm looking for it.
Good God, come on! That should be priority number one. You should have that tag loved.
I finished the match though.
Oh, now he's
that's the bad part. You finished the match.
I mean, I did. We did finish the match, didn't we?
No.
Oh. Never mind.
No, we went home. We went home. Oh, we went home early on that one.
I don't know what was that. Like, where are you at?
Shane, can we get that? Can we get that link up too for Mike's account too?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Get that up there for him. Adrian said he's gonna donate half of his brain cells left.
I did.
You don't remember saying that?
No, he's like, no.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be the only brain cells get refunded. Like, nah, y'all can.
I mean, what's 3? What's 3 at the end of this day?
Now you counting too high.
Oh no, that was counting Shane's, not yours.
Oh.
But by the way, Bliss, last show I worked with you guys, Natty Castle and Dodge. Yeah, awesome worker, good worker.
Yeah, no, definitely. Rob's probably actually watching right now, so I reached out to him. Shane's probably the best contact through him, but yeah, no, definitely interested. So.
Rob is at training right now.
Oh, he's at training. Oh yeah, where are you at? Just shaving your armpits?
I do my podcast on Mondays.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, if he wasn't here, we wouldn't be here, Gabe.
Late.
Yeah, I mean, I can go if you want.
Late. Like,
well, we are coming down to the last couple minutes of the first episode of 2026.
Yes, we are.
Mike, you got anything going on?
Yes, that was.
Yes. Well, obviously working shows along the way, but we're going to be looking to run quite a few truck races this year in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Looking to run the first race at the end of February. It's down in St. Petersburg. It's a road course, and I love the road course. But that's actually going to be run with the Indy cars. And then in June, middle of June, the United States Navy is going to be 250 years old. So NASCAR is doing a big salute to the Navy and by racing actually on the field at Coronado Naval Air Station out in San Diego. So those 2 races I really it's on my bucket list this year. But I'm gonna be running some short tracks, probably in ARCA again and some Xfinity if we get a budget together and some truck stuff. I just started a GoFundMe page because we need a little bit of help. I bought a truck and I'm trying to get all the parts assembled. But like again, without the budget, you can't do anything. So.
All right. Yeah. Link is down at the bottom. Going across the screen.
Thank you.
You guys can please donate. Please help out.
Guys, listen. But believe in the legend. 4 wheels on the ground, in the corners, on the canvas, in the air. That's your guy. Believe in him. Go help him out.
Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. This is a great show, by the way. Thank you for inviting me on. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for being our first guest of the new year.
Awesome. Yes, you are number 1 of 2026.
You are number 1, Mike. You are number 1.
I'll remember this. Trust me.
Yeah. They'll be like, these guys are crazy.
Yeah. You're going to be like, do you remember when I did that bad mistake?
I'll be like, what?
No, we really appreciate you being on. I mean, honestly, between Shane, myself, and Adrian, honestly, thank you. It's been a blessing that we can have such great people on to tell their stories and kind of get it out there. So if there's anything we can do for you going forward, you want to come back on, just let us know. I mean, you got my contact information. You have Shane's, you have Rob's. We'd love to have you back on as a future guest.
Would love that. Thank you so much for inviting me on, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year to everyone out there.
Happy New Year.
Prosperous New Year.
All right, guys. Until next week.
And Shane, have the video ready.